Okay. Hello, folks. Tonight we in many states, too many to name, are looking at Rolling Rock Pale, Extra Pale Lager, which debuted in 1939 in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, introduced by the Tito brothers. This beer is very inexpensive, as you probably know, or you might know, and it was acquired by Anheuser-Busch in 2006, and that company was in turn acquired by InBev in 2008.
I'm spilling beer on myself.
Yeah, I almost did too. You getting a? Let's get a little history on this real fast, or a little technical breakdown. It's 4.4% alcohol, and it has 130 calories, so that's very light. They use two adjuncts, corn and rice, which is a little unusual. Most beers use either corn or rice. And they have a pretty good description of the ingredients on the Rolling Rock website. And they say rice is an adjunct used to lighten the body and the mouthfeel or add a little sweetness. And they say corn is another adjunct that has a sweet, smooth flavor. It provides a somewhat neutral flavor to the finished beer. And then they go on and describe all the other ingredients. So it's a pretty educational website, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
For people that are looking to learn. So what do you have to say about the appearance, y'all? I know you didn't have any trouble getting it, right?
No, absolutely not. This is available easily at any store I walk into that sells beer.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good head, but no carbonation hardly whatsoever, and very few bubbles carbonating it.
I've got massive bubbles.
Hey.
I've got major bubbles.
Yeah, it's got almost like a light body kind of a look. It's almost a very clear, opaque kind of golden color.
Opaque.
Although I
mean, it's a very faint yellow color.
Although I don't have that beer sitting right in front of me, I can tell you it's the lightest straw color I've ever seen in my entire life for a beer.
It's very similar to a light beer.
Yeah, it's straw.
Yeah.
Light. Very.
But they say on the can, extra pale, so that's no
joke.
No.
It's kind of got that InBev smell to it.
I like that. I never heard that, John. An InBev smell.
It's got all their adjuncts. It's got all that adjunct smell that you get from both the Budweiser with the corn and the natural beers and the Busch beers with the or the Budweiser with the rice, and then the natural with the corn, I should say.
It's got that grassy type smell that a lot of your InBev, like your Budweisers and Bud Lights, has got.
Yeah.
Definitely those grassy hops, and it's so sweet, and they say that in the description. It's really a sweet, and a lot of people don't, in the craft beer world especially, they're kind of repelled by that overriding sweetness, and
right.
You can understand it, but I guess if you let most people try it, they would just say, well, it smells like beer to me, right? Just someone off the street.
Atypical, yep.
That's an interesting comment that you just made, Jay. What does beer smell like? What does it smell like?
I think to most people, the average person, when they say something smells like beer, they're talking about American-style adjunct lager, which they always have that and this is lead me to you in a minute, but that they have that stereotypical sweetness, grain, indistinguishable grains, really,
Most likely it's Bud Light, since that's the highest-selling beer in America.
Right. So.
Yeah, I've got a beer right here that defies, that smells like beer. This is a Sculpin Pale Ale. Yeah. And I think if you were blindfolded, I don't think you would. So okay. It doesn't really smell like beer. I mean, it's got an aroma all of its own.
Yeah.
But conversely, with this other beer that I have from Great Lakes Brewing Company, which is a Pilsner, which is closer to the style you're drinking. Yeah, but you see the difference in those colors right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I see Scott's trying to join us here.
Well,
But I mean, it's a drinkable beer. It's awful. I almost call it like an extra light. Well, I guess it's extra pale, but it's really extra light.
Well, tell us some more about the history of Rolling Rock, Jay, because there's a long and storied history with Rolling Rock.
Yeah, well, it was sort of like a local favorite, you know, and I guess around in the a very popular Pennsylvania beer. And then sometime around, I guess, in the 80s, it started to become more nationwide, and by the 90s, it became quite popular. And but I think the company, hello Scott, I think Rolling Rock or Latrobe Brewing ran into some kind of problems apparently, and there was some sort of deterioration to some extent, and then Anheuser-Busch swooped in and showed them the money, and they couldn't resist. I guess they wanted to cash out before they crashed out. You know what I mean? And Dave, I think I know where Dave's going with that. When I used to drink this beer in the 90s, I didn't like it too much because I found it had a strange, chalky undertaste. And I could always detect that in the taste, and I didn't like it. But after Anheuser-Busch bought it, and I tried it a few more times, I didn't detect that chalkiness, so I think they corrected whatever production issues they were having. That's just a presumption I have. I don't know that, but
yeah, I think who was I watching on YouTube? I think it was Huggy's Beer Reviews when he in Florida was doing the Rolling Rock. He was talking about, and I don't know how true this is. You maybe just alluded to it, that the beer of Rolling Rock that he was trying, that we're trying now, is not your father's or your grandfather's Rolling Rock. I don't really know what Anheuser-Busch could have done to this recipe that's making it a little bit different than what it was when it was first brewed by the Latrobe people before bought it by Anheuser-Busch.
I don't think they changed the recipe. I think they simply corrected whatever production issues were going on. And there's Scott. Scott, you're muted. So, but you know what I mean? It's like maybe the same recipe, but there was some kind of production problem that they corrected. I mean, I know Pabst had production problems in the 90s. I opened a can of Pabst one time and poured it in a glass, and a rubber tab came out.
What?
A piece of rubber came out, and I thought to myself, boy, what a slipshod operation this is.
I mean, these companies are so about the quality control now, because they know if they're not quality control, they're going to start losing money from people that are
right. Pabst had all kind of internal problems, and that's why one reason they shut down all their breweries. Well, they didn't shut the breweries down. Excuse me. Pabst turned the breweries over to Miller as part of that big deal they made in '99. So,
but isn't InBev trying to sell Rolling Rock now?
I've heard a rumor about that for about 3 or 4 years, but I've never seen any, you know, substantive evidence of it. Just like people will say they changed the recipe, but I never see any proof of it. Just people saying it.
Right.
We know Schlitz changed the recipe because the company said we changed the recipe. So now, I think we should get into the flavor of it.
Yeah, I do detect a slight amount of a metallic taste from this can. I don't know if they use any kind of lining inside of the can or not.
I really don't think there's a lining inside the can.
I wouldn't think so either.
You know what? I think I'm picking that up too a little bit.
Yeah, definitely the, I don't want to say it's overriding, but the flavor that remains throughout the entire beer is this underlining sweetness with that crispness from the rice. Yeah,
there's a shade of metallic, and there is the crispness in the finish, the dryness, and there is flavor. I would say it's similar to as far as the taste, not quality, but the taste prominence. You know, like how it was, like say like around with Busch, meaning there's not a whole lot of it.
Right.
I'm going to say it's so mild, there's actually not a lot to remark on, but I think that's kind of one of the things that I think we were talking about this in the last one, that this style is really sort of meant for. It's kind of meant to be something that you don't have to think a lot about, and it's something that that lends itself to drinkability, which is one of the reasons this style is so popular.
It's highly inoffensive. You don't, I mean, you can pick up, like I said, you can pick up the rice and the corn, but it's such a mild rice and the corn flavor that it doesn't override in an adjunct kind of a flavor.
Right, and I think that what John is saying is really right. These beers have such huge volume sales because of those factors. There's not a whole lot of flavor, but then you don't run across any kind of bad or off flavors or aromas, and then the price is so low. I mean, they had them over here for $9.99 an 18-pack.
Oh, I can beat that price.
I
can beat that price.
Yeah.
I was just a Giant Eagle today, Scott. Giant Eagle, Scott, a 30-pack cans for $10.99.
30.
That's incredible.
30-pack can.
My ripoff price is in Massachusetts is $13.99 for 18 of them.
Oh no, that's.
I'll give $1.39 for a 25-ounce can.
Yeah, that's a good deal. But that thing that Eric's paying is a jip.
The whole state's a jip.
Scott, you turn off. If you unmute yourself, you can talk to us.
Top of the screen.
Scott wants to be quiet. I don't know. Are you quiet tonight, Scott?
He can listen. He doesn't have to talk.
Hey.
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 Oh, hey, Scott. Hey,
Scott, that's my best buddy, man. We're going out this weekend or next weekend. We're going to this place that's got 1,200 beers.
don't drink them all in one weekend.
Absolutely not.
Hey, talking about Rolling Rock, you know, I did these taste tests recently, taste challenges, and they were colossal failures, right? Because I tasted 12 different beers in 4 sessions, and I got 2 correct. So what does that prove? And this is where I'm bringing in Dave, because last year we were having a video conference, but it wasn't recorded, and Dave told me, and I mentioned this in the taste challenge that was recorded yesterday. Dave told me, he confronted me, he said, you drank all that bullcrap beer, he said, and it tastes all the same. And I said, hey, I can tell it apart, I can tell the difference. And then Dave said, how do you know until you do the challenge?
Right.
And I said, who is he to tell me all of this? And then I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what? How can I say Dave's wrong if I don't do the challenge?
I never lost a bet yet.
So
never lost a bet.
I'd be really curious to find out how different the Rolling Rock Light is from this beer that's already pretty light in the first place.
yeah. So I did the taste challenge, and I said, I'm going to show Dave. I'm going to show him. I can tell these beers apart. And I did the first one. Oh, I failed. Second. So now, when I did number 4, and I got 0% correct, I had to say Dave was right.
Thank you.
But
Yay, thank you.
But in return, let me throw this out there. We all know that these beers we're doing are nothing to do with much anything but a production type beer. But also in return, there's a lot of craft beers out there that I also call production beers, and I'm really not considering them craft beer also.
Like what, John? Can you name one?
Hang on just a second.
Yeah, I'm just curious what you.
I would definitely say the two definitely in my area, which are big known name ones, are Harpoon and lots of the Harpoon beers and lots of the Sam Adam beers.
Yeah.
Scott.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or make anybody upset by saying that, but I believe that is fact, and I'm not throwing out any beers, but I mean, there's some production beers out there.
So you don't want to give us any names there, John?
I think Sierra Nevada, so Sierra Nevada out there. I mean, they make a production beer.
Like which one exactly are you talking?
Pale ale.
Pale ale.
Pale ale. I mean,
Torpedo Pale Ale, or we talking?
No, they're original pale ale.
Yeah.
Oh,
That and maybe the Summerfest lager.
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, now, Like John said, to counterpoint, right, I failed. I've done 4 taste challenges. I could not tell the beers apart. But on the other hand, there is a point to that, and the point is this. They all tasted good. There was nothing off about any of the 12 beers. Okay, they were easy drinking, and the quality, the quality and consistency level was high. So the point that the real point of the taste challenge so far is that when you're buying these type of beers, there should be only one consideration.
Cost.
The cost, the price.
Oh my goodness, no!
Wait, Dave, with these types of beers.
He's got an opinion, and we want to hear his opinion on that.
You guys are buying beer because of the price?
With these types of beers.
If every one of these adjunct lagers tastes the same, besides price, the only thing you should be looking at is the ABV, if that's your intent on why you drink the beer. I mean, you're not paying $85 for a bottle of Whiskey 12, so you gotta.
Right, or you can look at the calorie count. If you're looking to, watch your weight, you want to look at calories, alcohol by volume, and price. There's no other. I don't see what there would be any other consideration unless you think the label's pretty.
Right.
What can I say? Scott, help me out, man. What can
I say? Hold on.
Let me jump in on this. There's not
I happen to have one of the Westie 12s.
Got some Westie over there. Go ahead and show them the Westie, Scott. What do you got, man?
I mean, we could all throw Westies up here, but it's not the point of what we have. It's the point of
I think personal preference that, to me, I don't want to iterate to anybody else, but to me, it would almost have to be a price point and flavor.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You can't really factor in flavor because it's almost all identical. That was Dave's original point in 2013. Right. Dave Coulter said they all taste the same anyway, so what is the big deal? And I took exception to it, and I said, no, you're wrong. But so far, he's right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
no.
Yeah.
They don't all taste the same.
The point of this isn't to be comparing.
Let's say this, John. They don't taste identical, but in a taste challenge, the flavors are so close that it's almost impossible to tell them apart in a blind taste challenge. Now, at least for me, everybody on this
ask one question.
Everyone on this panel would have to do it because it could just be me being a bad, having bad discernment, whatever. But I think generally people would not be able to tell them apart, especially as it concerns light beers.
So Jay is going to come to Cleveland here. He wants to watch the Cleveland Indians on July 4th. So correct. Jay, if I take you up to the bar right there at the Cleveland Indians Stadium, and I get you a St. Pauli girl, and a Coors, and a Beck's, and an Amstel, will you be able to discern the difference between all those beers?
Probably.
Really?
Because St. Pauli girl.
Really?
Yeah, I think I could pick out the St. Pauli girl and the Beck's. And
really? You could tell the difference between St. Pauli's and Beck's? Really?
No. I could pull out the St. Pauli girl and the Beck's, and I could say, okay, over here is Coors Light because it's very light, and then I could say Amstel Light because, yes, it's a light beer, but it has some particular little flavor. So I think in that case I would get probably half of them correct.
And this is after an afternoon of watching baseball and consuming several beers prior, right?
Well,
you see,
I have to drive. Wait a minute. I have to drive to the hotel after the game, so I don't want to.
And I don't know. The hotel is way out in the next county. I don't know. You must.
Yeah, I don't want to run it right, and I don't want to violate the thing that Dave and other people always say at the end of their videos. So,
Jay, I gotta say, you must have got a hell of a deal on that hotel because he's staying out in the next county. It's not even close to Cuyahoga County.
Oh well, it's not that far, and
it is that far, my brother. On the 4th of July, it is going to be.
Traffic is going to be horrendous.
It's terrible.
Well, I screwed up, I guess, but I got a price of $66.93 after tax. So.
$56.93. So for an extra $50, you could stay right downtown.
Yeah. Well, anyway, a few more things I want to show you. Here's an interesting Rolling Rock can. It's weird because look at the front of it. It's got gold and white instead of blue and white. You know how they usually have green, gold, and blue? This one has green and gold. So that was interesting.
How old is that can?
Right.
I would say 2012.
Okay.
Here is an interesting
Not the one
bottle.
open tonight, right? Okay.
Now here's a weird bottle. This bottle was bought around 1997. But you know what's strange about this bottle? And I thought this was the case when I first bought the bottle. I thought it was odd. It's paper. It's not the painted bottle. You know, usually they're painted.
Right.
But this is a glue-on label. So when I saw this, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm buying this," and I never saw it again. So that was. I wasn't going to pass that up. And now here's a third thing I'll show you. Boy, if you could find this, this is like the Holy Grail or something.
Oh, the Red Rock Red, or the Rock Red.
Yeah, this is so rare. You know, it's like they sold it here about a year and then it was gone.
Yeah, I remember seeing that a lot even before I started drinking beer, but I never really remembered it was flying off the shelves at all, or really remember people drinking it.
No. Well, it gets no promotion, but you know it's still produced. It's strange.
Oh, it is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you get on, there's a website called Tap Into Your Beer. Tap Into Your Beer it's an entire catalog of every Anheuser-Busch beer.
Yeah.
Very good. It's a very helpful website for when you're trying to do a quick reference. But you know, this beer, I'm drinking it. It's 4.4. You would have to drink a lot to feel it.
Right. Dude, they don't. This beer on Beer Advocate isn't even classified as a light beer. Is that right?
It's not a light beer, but it's barely a regular beer. But it is a regular beer.
That's why I asked that. I can't imagine that the Rolling Rock Light is all that much different in the flavor than this, and even in the milk.
It is. The Rolling Rock Light is really, to me, undrinkable. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it probably has no.
Got nothing
whatsoever.
There's a big value problem with that beer. Yeah.
Now, this one here, though, I could drink this as a standby beer, and I would be satisfied. You know, something to keep in the fridge for when you're just as a what do you call it? I call it a filler beer.
Session beer.
Yeah, these things fly off.
No, not a session beer, man.
Yeah, these things fly off the shelf at the store. They sell the heck out of this stuff at Mathern's. I'm telling you what, people buy this stuff like it's going out of style. And
okay, I listened to what you guys had to say. Now it's my turn. I grew up with this beer. I've been drinking this beer longer than most of you guys been alive. That's right. Yeah, I'm going to be 62 this year. I'm going to be 62. So I've been drinking this beer longer than most of you guys been on the planet. And my dad drank this beer. My dad was not a big guy. He was a couple inches taller than me. He drank a case of this crap every night. And I call it crap because this is what killed him. And I'm not saying that Rolling Rock beer is going to kill anybody. But because he drank in the quantity that he did, it eventually killed him, man. It shot his liver. His liver was crap, man. His liver was worth 2 cents, dude. But I tell you what, man, it's the first beer I ever tried, and I didn't really like it, and I tried to drink it over the years as I became older, and I just never really liked it. And you know what? The period of time that I grew up, I didn't like any of those beers because there were no craft beers. You know, you drank Schlitz, you drank Schaefer, you drank Rolling Rock, you drank PBR, whatever, man. That was it. But this beer right here is not that bad of a beer, but it's not going to be my first choice of the night. It's just not going to be. But you know what? You get what you pay for.
Correct.
And that's the whole point.
And this
That's
beer
entirely the point of that. I mean, I don't even know if the way to do it is to be sort of putting it together with all the other types of adjunct lagers and then comparing it that way. It really doesn't make sense because I mean we're all here because we obviously like craft beer in general. So there's no way that we're gonna start drinking these beers and giving them say 4s or 5s because we like them in the same sense as a Sculpin IPA or something like that. That's not the point at all.
Right.
But you in turn, you can't give these beers a 4 and a 5.
Yeah, that's
against a craft beer too.
But
These
that was
beers
just an example. If you were to do that, whatever your rating is, it's not going to be on par with one of those kind of craftier beers than these.
But at the same time, I like to iterate myself as a reviewer and say that I would not put these beers in the same category.
No.
Because of the sheer fact that I mean, they're pretty much like I said before. I said this in the last review. Each and every beer kind of has its place, and to me, this would be another one of those beers that you would. I mean, if you're in a pinch, okay, you're just going to grab something, you know, cheap, easy drinking, something that's not going to get you wasted, and you know, go out and have a picnic with the family at any of the what do you want to call it? Maybe beaches, maybe any kind of like picnic spots. You know, this is one of those beers that it seems to be, to me, that I don't mean to offend anybody if I do, but nowadays to me, it's like I see all the old-timers, all the old-time drinkers picking up these beers, the PBRs, the Genesees, the cream ales, that kind of stuff. But, you know, being one of the younger crowd, I see everybody kind of turning towards the craft beer industry only because of flavor.
Possibly so. But I think John, Sharon, and we were talking about this before. Our main gripe is not that people will say, to me it's sort of dull, and I don't think it's that great. We never had a gripe with that. Our big gripe was people getting on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate and saying, this beer is a 1 out of 100. You know,
well, you have to get,
people aren't rating beers. People aren't rating beers for what beers are.
Right.
Each beer has its own place, just like the West Flecken 12 has the. What you can't take a Rolling Rock and compare it to that. I mean, you can't. You can't take a Budweiser, compare it to, you know, a West Flecken Blonde. You can't do that. I mean, there's different categories for each beer, and I'd like to see everybody start categorizing their beers.
Right.
So I think a lot of different stuff.
Look, if this beer was really a 1 out of 100, could we really have drank it tonight?
Or it made you sick and throw up instantly or something. Something would have been so bad that you couldn't even swallow the beer, for God's sake.
Oh, for my 2 cents, I didn't drink it because I know what it tastes like, and I didn't want to drink it.
Absolutely.
We got no problem with that.
Yeah,
but you know what? I'm not going to take anything away from the other 5 gentlemen here. If you want to drink that beer, that's on you. That's up to you, but it's not for me.
There's a lot of different beers out there in the adjunct lager department. I'd rather have this beer over a lot of other adjunct lagers, just because, just like with the PBR, it has so little of that adjuncty flavor that it's not just all corn, it's not just all rice, it's not just all intensely sweet or anything like that. It doesn't have any high gravity malt liquor kind of a taste. It's just pretty subdued, and it can go with whatever the heck you're doing.
Yeah, I got no problem with it. My general opinion of Rolling Rock is not something I think about or anticipate and say, oh boy, I'm drinking Rolling Rock, I'm so excited. But if if somebody had Rolling Rock and said, you want to drink some Rolling Rock while we watch the football game, I'd say, yeah, that'd be good. Let's eat some popcorn and drink some Rolling Rock, and I would have no issue with it. You know, a craft beer snob, not a craft beer fan, there's a difference. A craft beer snob would tell you, I'm not drinking that, and I'm not watching the game with you, and they would leave.
Go spend your own money somewhere else for the day, then.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with that.
That's when we got to do that blind taste test. That's when
absolutely.
Well, I've done the taste challenge 4 times, and I'm going to try to do them about once a month. And I might keep failing, and all that will prove is that the beers, well, it'll prove one of 2 things. I don't know what I'm doing, or the beers are very similar and they're hard to differentiate.
You know what my
The
problem
more
is?
you change, the more the beer stays the same.
Right. What, Dave?
I was
Right.
going to say, I've got to get somebody over here to do a live taste test with me, because the people that I know don't want to be on camera, and that's not going to validate my taste test. I got to get somebody back at this table right here to pour the beer out, and I have no idea what the beer is.
Well,
And
if you watch the way I do it in my challenge, I do it by myself because I have the same dilemma you have. No one is interested, but I can do it in a way that I don't cheat or accidentally cheat, and it's pretty accurate. And but I did fail miserably. But yeah, there's a way you can pull it off without.
I talked to Scott about this. I need to get some voluptuous woman in here with some like stuff that sticks out in the front and in the back. You know, that would boost my video view, wouldn't it?
More than likely.
Like one of those Budweiser girls, only more amplified.
A St. Pauli girl. A St. Pauli girl.
There you go, Jay.
Well, anyway, I guess we've kind of like covered this situation, and I think what we've learned, well, we didn't learn anything, but I think what we've determined that Rolling Rock is one of those iconic American beers.
Legacy beers.
Exactly, that's what they are, legacy beers.
Yeah, John calls it a legacy beer. It's
like
not great, not that anyone's claiming that it's great. I've never heard any commercial saying Rolling Rock is great.
No.
But on the other hand, it's not terrible like some people will say. I mean, that's a joke. That hurts your credibility when you say you would rather drink horse urine than Rolling Rock. And some of these people will say that on some of these review sites.
Put it on YouTube if you'd rather do it. We want you to prove it.
So somebody actually sent me an email about that yesterday, and I said, "I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what a horse urine tastes like."
Yeah, I've never had any interest in that.
I said something about Budweiser being good. And he says, "Well, that's like horse urine." I said, "Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what that tastes like."
Yeah. Well,
I've never tasted horse urine. Have you?
No.
Hell no.
Any final thoughts from any of our participants tonight?
I will give this beer on the Beer Advocate style rating a 3. Once again, a 3 out of 5, and you hit it on the head. It's not good. It's not bad. I enjoy it because it is light and refreshing, and it's got minimal adjunct flavors.
Well, a 3 out of 5 would be 60 out of 100, which would be a failing grade in my class. I don't know. You want to rethink that, Eric?
I'm just going right in the middle between above average and below average, right in the smack in the middle of that. That's where I'm at.
He's just saying
a C standard.
Our new buddy from South Dakota, he's muted. I can't hear him. What's going on here, John?
We had feedback problems. What do you say, John? Any final thoughts?
I always have trouble rating beers.
Wait, John Page. Let's do John Page and then John Sharon. John Page, any final thoughts?
Yeah, like I was saying, I always have trouble rating beers. You can't rate it. I can't rate this beer against craft beers, against all beers I've drank. So somewhere where I would call it drinkable, but I can't give it a rating because there's so many other beers that, and in my mind, beers have a purpose. So like if I want to have a beer that tastes, that I want to think about and that I like the flavor of, it's not going to be any American craft beer, or I'm sorry, any American adjunct beer. But these craft beers, these adjunct beers have their purpose, and that would be, like you were saying, a ball game or a lawnmower beer. And it's not that I don't like drinking them. I do, but not all the time. It's just they have their kind of their purpose. So that's kind of my final thoughts.
Well said, John. I like that. Well said.
John Sharon? John
if I'm going to rate this beer, I'm going to rate this beer for what it is.
Correct.
I give it a 3.5. I don't like rating. I'm not a big rater because I don't, But I mean, for what this beer is, I'd buy it again, and I probably will. But I mean, there's not 20 things you can sit up here and say about this beer like you could a Western Electric 12. I mean, what it is what it is. I mean, it's a beer. I mean, it's a classic beer that's been around for a long time, and if I want to drink a beer and mow my yard, I might buy it.
I gotta find some of that West Electric 12. That sounded good.
I can hook you up, man.
Well,
You gotta make a trip to Ohio, man. We have a great time here.
yeah, I've been to Ohio before and I liked it. Well, my final thought is that it's fine if somebody came into the grocery store and said, "Do you think Rolling Rock's worth buying?" And I would say, "Well, what do you normally drink?" If he said something like, "Oh, I drink Natural Light and I drink Budweiser and Miller High Life," I was thinking about trying Rolling Rock, I'd say go for it. And that's usually the type of person I would ask for it. I don't think too many people are going to come in there and say, I've been drinking all the Anchor beers, and I just finished Anchor Old Rasputin. What do you think about Rolling Rock? I don't think somebody's going to come in and do that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
But let me throw this out there. If this beer wasn't a decent beer, it wouldn't have been around since 1939.
No, it wouldn't.
If these beers that we've been doing are such bad beers and nobody wants to buy them, why are they some of the top 15, 20 beers that sold in the United States right now?
They wouldn't sell. They tried to sell some of that garbage over here. They tried to sell some of that true garbage over here, and they couldn't give it away.
I mean, in contrast to that, if what is it? It's the Rubinoff vodka. That stuff is like $11 in a big old plastic bottle. I mean, people know that stuff is bad, but that stuff sells like hotcakes because people, well, unlike with the Rolling Rocks, unless you drink 230 racks, you're gonna buy the Rubinoff to get drunk and only to get drunk, not for. I love its subtle raspberry flavor.
Jay, you were the one that had, we've talked before, and you said that you had one from Romania.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah, and one of the ones that you had said that it bombed terribly.
No, all the three Romanian beers I tried were fantastic.
No, okay, I mean,
no, they didn't bomb.
I remember you saying that there was one that you had that wasn't really that great.
Yeah, no. I remember that, Scott. No,
I didn't. Oh, wait. I thought you were talking about the 3 Romanian beers I had a month ago that my cousin brought back. Oh, yes, you're talking about that atrocity of mankind called Super Brew 15 from Bucharest.
That's it.
Don't even bring that up.
That's a bad value.
I knew I would find one that's worse.
That was 14% alcohol. I can still remember the taste. Woo. I have to grit my teeth when I think of it. Oh, don't even bring that up.
Like West Electric 12.
No, never drink Super Brew 15. That's poison. That's poison. But anyway, But the Romanian beers I drank last month those were legitimate beers. Okay.
Nice.
Well, anyway, I guess we've beat this horse to death. So what else can you say? That's it. So we'll probably not review necessarily, but we'll probably examine another one of these, like John Sharon calls legacy beers, soon enough, I think.
Sure.
So thanks everyone for joining.
I just want to say thanks to our new member here, John, out of South Dakota, and I hope he emails me some good South Dakota breweries, man. You guys gotta have some beer in South Dakota. Let me know about it.
All right, man. I'll get back with you.
Sweet. Hit me up on my channel.
All right, I will.
All right, thank you, world, for watching this video production.
Hey, thanks for having me in, Jay. I appreciate it. And you know what? To all the Facebook haters, cheers.
Uh-oh. We better get...
All the Facebook haters, cheers.